cloud. Okay, welcome to the Austin Adobe User Group monthly meeting. Tonight, Cornelius Chopin, one of the co-managers of our group, is going to be returning for part 6 of what's new in Adobe Illustrator. He keeps coming up with more and more features and presenting them to us with his famous Chopinisms. Cornelius spent more than 19 years as an engineer at Texas Instruments and Motorola. And after leaving Motorola, he began teaching at the ITT Institute in Austin, Texas, and freelancing for several major companies. He has earned an Adobe Certified Instructor, ACI credential in Flash, Dreamweaver, and Photoshop, making him only one of 7 ACIs in Texas. He's currently an accessibility coordinator at the Health and Human Services Commission, and he's been an active speaker with our group for over 16 years. Cornelius, I give you the microphone.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen and let me share the application. And I want you guys, can y'all see the Adobe Illustrator?
Yes, but it's not very large on your screen.
Okay, so let me close this out. And I think that that's just a dialog box. Can you see, again, I don't have anything open right now, but can you guys see the Adobe Illustrator being open?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with a template. Now you can download any of these templates. A lot of these templates are free. If you click New, you get this dialog box right here, and you can click on Template and scroll through here and find a template of your choosing. I already downloaded one, so to save some time.
Are these provided by Adobe? Where do they come from?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are free templates that you can download. This is like minimalist web banner set, so you can download this. Can y'all see this? Again, I want to make sure that y'all can see everything. Can y'all see this dialog
We
box?
see the whole menu. There's text on the right with the headline minimal web banner set.
Right.
And
Okay.
there's something that looks like a postage stamp on the
Right.
left.
Yeah, and that's the template. That's a thumbnail view of it. I'm about to click open, and it's gonna open it up now. It should be way big, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. And then I'm gonna double click to kind of do 100% on the magnifying glass. You can do that in any of the Adobe applications, right? If you double click on either the magnifying glass or the hand, you get different options.
You
right?
zoom in.
Yeah, so that's a good technique just to remember. So if you double click on the magnifying glass, you get that 100% view. So anyway, this is a template that I downloaded, and notice up at the top here it has, the name, 01 in the name, which is half pages, 300 by 600, and this is wide skyscrapers, 160 by 500. So it's two artboard that was automatically created, and again, my favorite word is automatic, right? I was in class today, and I must have said that word like 15 times. But
You said it automatically.
Okay. I love that word. Anyway, it created these two artboards. You can see them right here. That's one and that's two in the artboard. There's a separate tab here for artboard like you have for layers, right? There's an artboard tab. Now, so what you can do with artboards, you could do a whole lot with artboards that you couldn't do in the past. Okay. And so we're going to go over that real quick, but I'm gonna do it with different ways of doing it because people have different ways of doing things. So I'm gonna show you different ways of doing things. The first one is going to be using the artboard itself to see what you can do. So let's first of all do the change the artboard name. Let's see right here. You can click on the artboard name. If I can, actually, let me do this. One thing you got to remember, let me hold my space bar key, is when you're working with the artboard, this is very important to remember. You need to have the artboard icon selected right here that I'm hovering over. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do anything with the artboard. So it's Very, very, very important that you make sure that you have this option selected. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do it. So the first thing I want to do is show you that you could just double click on the artboard name and type in a new name. And I'm known by Corn Chop, so I'm going to type in Corn Chop. That's my name they call me at work. And I'm going to hit tab to commit it. And notice it gave it that name, but also 01. It's going to automatically gives it a number. And if I could come over here, if I double click again, I'm going to type this. I'm going to type in, let's call me Coney. Okay, that's another name I used to be called. So I'm going to hit tab. And notice it gave it another name, right? So you couldn't do this that easily in the past, right? To name an artboard, you had to kind of go to the panel and name it and all that crazy stuff, right? But now you can literally.
I'm noticing that it gave it a unique number, even though the name was unique.
Right, and you're gonna see as you create other artboards, it automatically create numbers, and if you delete artboard, it's gonna automatically renumbers your artboard. So all that's good. So let's do that. In fact, so let's look at creating a new artboard, not the artboard and the artwork, but just the artboard. Now, when you hover over it, can you guys see these little plus signs?
Yes.
Okay, so now there's no plus sign on this side because there's no space for me to duplicate an artboard because there's not enough space. But if you hover over this edge, this edge, this edge, this one, and this one, you can duplicate the artboard. So let me just go over here. If I click on
If you
this,
only had one artboard, would there be pluses on all sides?
yep, that's correct. In fact, let's just do that just to say, just show you that. So I'm gonna purposely just delete this. This is one of the things we'll be doing later, but let me just do that just to illustrate what you mentioned there. So I'm gonna delete this artboard. Now that's the
that's the text on an artboard.
Yeah, that's the text
delete the
itself.
whole
So
artboard.
let me just delete all of this.
How do you select the entire artboard to delete it?
Yeah, you just select it, and what you got to be careful with, and make sure again, you always got to make sure this thing is selected. And we hit delete artboard.
Isn't that a famous Chopinism of yours?
Which one is that? Only what's selected?
It gets affected.
That's right. Okay, now because you have a thing artboard, Karen, notice the plus sign, as you rightly stated, is on all sides.
Now, if you were to move that artboard all the way flush left, would the plus on the left disappear?
No, because this canvas is really big. So if you move now, if I move this, notice I'm moving the artboard and not the artwork, right? And there's a way to move both, but it just looks next to the artboard to see whether or not I can add an artboard. Now I'm gonna do Control Z a couple of times to get back to my original 2 artboards, I believe, like we had originally. And this time I'm gonna add an artboard. Now, notice what I'm doing. I'm adding the artboard, not the artwork that is on the artboard. So if I click right here, notice it add a artboard next to it. If I click down here, it knows which way to put it, right? See, so it's gonna put it below or to the right of wherever you add the plug sign. If I click here, it's gonna create one on that side. Now,
and it duplicates the size and proportions of the one that you're
correct
starting from.
So it will give you the size of the one that you're working with. Now let me use the rusty on my shortcuts. I'm looking for the minus sign for my SUV.
Are you talking to Siri? I'm seeing something in the upper right of your screen.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm kind of zooming in, and then I'm gonna use my space bar to move it. And if I click again, it gets bigger, and then I can use my hand to a space bar to get to pan it. So basically, wherever you, again, you always got to remember, it's like, why this stupid thing is not working? Remember, you always got to go back to here if you change your tool. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So again, if as I click, it will add the corresponding artboard as needed. So of the same size. Now, let's do something else though, and that is let's duplicate the artboard. But before I do that, I'm gonna just right click and delete this artboard because these artboards right here, and that's the thing you can do with the menu. But if I want to duplicate the artboard, I'm gonna hold down the Alt or the Option key, depending upon whether or not you're on a Mac or PC, right? So if I hold down the Alt, in this case the Option key because I'm on a Mac, and then click that same plus sign, I'm gonna duplicate the artboard and the artwork. So watch what happens when I click here. Bam! Notice it duplicated. This was the original. This is the duplicated one, and notice it says Corn Chop copy. So that's the copy of this one here that it automatically. So if you want to copy the artwork and conjunction there, right, and the artwork, make sure you hold on the Alt or the Option key. But that's good because it duplicated the same size and to the right, left, top, or bottom, depending upon where it has space to assign it, right? So that's one thing you could do. So you create artboard, or you could duplicate the artboard with the artwork, and then you can draw an artboard automatically. So let's say I want an artboard for a business card, right? So all I got to do is just click and drag and the size that I need, right? And I can automatically create an artboard the size I want. Again, I could just click and drag, and you can see the dimension in that little two. It may be hard to see, but if you look at the bottom, what corner is at the bottom right corner, you see there's a width height in pixels, right? So you could kind of determine how big you want that to be when you release it. Okay, and then again,
Now you described it as the size of a business card, and that assumes that you know the
right,
proportions, the aspect
exactly,
ratio.
right,
If
yeah.
you don't, can you say you want an artboard that would fit on a particular size screen?
You got some template with business cards and stuff like that. That's probably the best thing to do.
Or a trifold brochure or something
Right.
like that?
And so there's probably some template with the business card, and I'm sure there are template with the business card size because it's a standard size for most business cards, right? Unless you get unique. But let me delete this one. So you could draw an artboard. So that's something you can do. I'm gonna move this back into place, and I'm gonna delete this one too, just so we can have more space to work with. Okay, so we duplicate artboard, we create artboard, we draw artboard manually, and you can also resize the artboard. Let's say we duplicated this one, remember, and notice it automatically number these. Now this is this one right here. I inadvertently, this is not an artboard, and you can tell if it's an artboard because it's going to have a name at the top. So this is actually just pictures, you see. So I'm gonna just select this because I'm in that mode. I think I inadvertently deleted that artboard. So I'm gonna just select this and hit delete to delete that. And then I'm gonna recreate it again to make sure it's an artboard. But notice this is 1, 2, and 3. So if I make sure you're on the artboard icon, very important. And then I'm hover to the edge, but this time again, I'm holding on the Option key and click, and pay attention to these numbers up here. If I click on that, bam, and I'm holding my spacebar key. Notice it's 1, 2, 3, and the next one in line obviously is 4. So it's going to automatically number it. If you delete an artboard, it's going to automatically notice this is what 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I delete it, and I always forget to delete the. I don't know why. Why is it doing that?
Now the one on the left no
Yeah,
longer has a title.
yeah. I'm not sure why that's working like
Here
that.
it comes. It just filled in.
Okay.
Was thinking.
So let me delete. This is an artboard. Again, you got to make sure this thing is selected. It's very important to remember. And then I'm gonna hit delete again to delete it. So anyway, you know, you can play around with these artboards and stuff. So let's see what else we can do. So you can resize it to whatever size you want. So if I, again, I'm gonna just click to create a new artboard, you can just grab it. Let's say that's too small for me. I can just rescale it to whatever size I want. So you're not limited to your original size. You can change it to whatever size you want. And then you can cut the artboard, you can copy it, paste it, you know, I mean, you know how to do that, right?
Are artboards
Uh,
always square or rectangular?
no, it could be any size and shape you want.
It could
Yeah.
be a circle or a star,
Well, no, excuse me. It could be, no, it can't be a circle, but it can
but
be
it's
any.
always going to be a rectangle of some sort.
Yeah, it'll be, yeah, any type of rectangle or square, right? You can't make a circle out of it. Now you can probably do some masking to do something like that, but it's typically going to be a rectangle or a square. Okay, so you can. We saw how to rename the artboard. Now you can rename the artboard just like up here where you double click to rename it. You can rename it in here as well. You can delete the artboard here. Delete empty artboard, and this one is empty. So I guess I select delete and it empty anything that doesn't have anything on it. So let's look at with the contextual menu. Now this is a menu down at the bottom here. Again, make sure you're on this thing right here. And you have the same options with the artboard, but you have some additional options actually. Um, Let me just move this thing over so we can see this better. Okay, so you have where you can do a generative, you know, you can write a prompt. I don't want to do that. Let me go back to the artboard
What is
option.
that panel on the bottom called?
This is a contextual panel. This is, you know, it's fairly new to, so it's kind of context sensitive. So it depends upon what you're doing. It's going to change depending upon whatever tool you're on, it's going to change it to the two presets. So instead of having to go up here, over here, a lot of, you know, like we usually do back in the old days, 2 years ago, uh, most everything that is similar, for example, if I select magnifying glass, I get a different set of options, right? If I select the selection tool,
It's the context for whatever
right?
tool you're using.
Yeah, or what object you're selecting, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna go back to the artboard. So that's what we're working on. And notice the change. Now, this option right here is the range. So typically, when you have artboard, you have a whole slew of artboards. And so if I click on this, notice you get this rearrange dialog box that allows you to rearrange. Now I have three here, and you can rearrange it what we call left to right, top to bottom, the normal, you know, reading order, if you will. Or you could read it from top to bottom down one column and then top to bottom down the next column, if you want column view, if you will. Or you could go straight down. So I can have all three of these go straight down. Now I don't need to select this one because it's already in a horizontal line. But let's just select this one here, which is already selected. And I'm gonna do a line man. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna just click OK because I want to move the artwork and the artboard. So I'm gonna click it, and you'll see it's gonna line itself up vertically. So if I click OK, bam. Okay, so you can rearrange your artwork that way. I did Control Z to undo that. You can also add an artboard down here. So again, if I click plus, it created an artboard based on my current selection, right, which I think was that one or that one. So I'm gonna do Control Z to undo that. You can duplicate the artboard and the artwork like we did earlier. Notice this one is selected, right? So that's one that's gonna get affected, right, by what I do. And then you can also export the artboard. So if you do that, you get the three artboards that we have. You can select which ones, one or all of them, right? Just by clicking here. And then when you export it, it export it as individual files. In this case, 3 files, and you can select the location if you want subfolders and what kind of format you want. So it's going to save each one of the artwork as a different file. And that's nice because this used to be complicated in the past. Now it's literally a click away. So I'm going to cancel out of that. But if you wanted to do that, and then these are basically things for this menu right here. So let's look at some other things you can do with the tool up at the top up here as it relates to artboard. So let me just duplicate another artboard. So one of the things you can do is change its orientation. Now I'm using the menu up at the top. We did it, we did it from the artboard. We did it from the what we call context sensitive menu. We did it from this. I don't know what this is called now. The contextual menu, I think. But now let's do it from the toolbar. I think that's what it's called up at the top. So one thing you can do from the toolbar at the top is to change the orientation. You know about like portrait and landscape, right? Like what you do with your phone when you rotate it, right? So you could go from right now, what is this? Portrait. If I click here, bam, I can landscape it, right? And I'm gonna go back to portrait. But what I
It
really like
basically
is the fact.
rotates it 90 degrees.
What I really like is the fact that you can change the color. In the old days, you used to have to put a box and put a color on it, right? Now you can literally change the artboard color itself. Okay, you can select from the default black, white, but here I'm gonna select from the menu, and I'm gonna select just any color. And if I click OK, bam. So this is literally the color of the artboard now. You couldn't do that in the past. You had to kind of create a box, using the rectangular tool and put it on top of the artboard. So it was
You
a
had to add a
separate
layer
item.
to it.
Right. Now this is literally the color of that artboard. And you see when I scale it, it scales with that color. But if I had that box, let me just illustrate that. Maybe that might make sense. So if I click here, and I'm gonna just draw a box, right? Let's just say I'm gonna just draw something like that. And obviously I'm gonna change the color. I'm gonna do blue, let's say, right? Hold on. Make a selection there. Why is it not changing?
Now, the artboard is visible in the artwork. It's not just to provide contrast for what you're working on in the
Okay,
foreground,
there it is. I know. Say that again, Karen.
I was asking the color and of the artboard is visible in the artwork unless it's obscured by a layer. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yeah. And what I was going to try to do is change the color here. And you said, now let's say I match that over to, because this is what you had to do in the past, right? You had to kind of match a box or whatever over the artboard to give it a different color. The problem
That's a
with
new
that,
layer.
right? The problem with that is if you move the artwork or resize, and again, always got to go to there, resize art the artboard. Let me grab one of these. Let me move this thing out my way. Um, oh, Control Z. Got to get down right there and scale that. Obviously, that's not going to scale. See, you got to switch tools to do that. This is not going to scale with that, right? Uh, but this will scale. And again, you always need to make sure that's selected. I can make this bigger or smaller, and it's going to always be red, right? So that's a big time saver because if you had an artboard like this and you scaled it, then you had to go back and grab this and fiddle with it and make sure you got it correct. So I'm gonna hit delete on that. Hit delete artboard. And I got several artboards going on here. Delete.
But when you choose a color for an artboard, your only options are solid colors. You can't do a gradient or a
Let's see.
vivid.
I don't know. Let
Can
me
you?
let me see. Let me delete this real quick. Let's see. Um, Let me delete this first. So let's see if again, I'm gonna get back on this and I'm gonna click here. Because see, they got custom, they got white, black, transparent, which is the default, right? And custom. But if you click here, let's see what we get. So
It's still only a solid of
yeah, I think yeah,
of a
and that's
different
fine.
hue.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you can only do solids, but typically you want a solid artboard anyway. Uh, but that's something that you couldn't do in the past. Let's see what else you can do. You did the field add artboard. Again, you can do some other things up here too, just like you can anywhere. You can add artboard right here. You can delete artboard right there. You can rename it right here. I'm not sure what this does. You can move it. Uh, you can scale artboard. So you got a whole lot of other options, and then you can rearrange it. Remember how we did it earlier,
Mm.
uh, right here. So again, pick your pill, if you will. That's the matrix, at least kind of alluding to the matrix. You can work up here if you're used to being up there. You can work in the artboard thing, which is what we're going to cover. Or you can work on a canvas, right, or the artboard itself. Or you can right click and work here, or you can work down here. So you got what, 5 different options, for crying out loud, uh, to do stuff. Now some things you can do, you have to do in certain places, right? Uh, so you need to be like, I don't know, like rotating. I don't know if you had the option in here to rotate. Yeah, I guess you do switch orientation. So
Yeah, but since that's a square artboard, it won't be
yeah,
evident.
yeah, yeah. That wouldn't make sense to do a square. Try to rotate a square, you get a square, right? That's not. That
Right.
wouldn't be good. But if I did made it smaller and then do rotate orientation, it works. Okay.
May I
So the
point
bottom.
out to you that we have about 20 minutes left to the hour, so
Okay.
I know you have a lot
Um,
of topics you want to
yeah,
cover.
yeah. I do want. Let me wrap this up, and then I'm gonna do the turntable because that's the. Um, so well, let me do one more thing, and that's over here. There's one other area that you can work with artboard, and that's over here. And notice I got all of the names. The thing that you can do different here is if you select all of these names, you can rename them all at once. That's a big time saver, right? So if I click rename, and I'm gonna call this AAUG, right? Since that's also
Mm-hmm.
Adobe Users Group. When I click OK, pay attention to these names. Click OK, bam, automatically name them, rename them the same with the numbers, and then there's another feature in here where you can lock them down. I forgot to mention you could do a lock and unlock here as well. So those are all of the features that you can do with the artboard. So let's switch gears, and I'm gonna create another artboard for my next topic, which is, and I'm gonna make a really big artboard, uh, and that is the turntable. It's called in Illustrator. And this has been around still, they've improved on it. I mean, this is where you take a 3D object, a 2D object rather, and convert it into a 3D object, but they've added more features to it. Okay, from the last time you guys saw me do this. So first of all, I need to create a
That was just a month ago.
yeah, it's been a month or maybe 2 months ago.
Right. Okay.
And so let's create an object. So um, I got to select the right tool, right? And notice generate vector. So let's just do something real simple. Let me see what I want to what I want to animate. I'll create 3D. Let's do when I did a red fox the other day. Now 3D AI is still not perfect, right? Because I did a red fox yesterday and got a red fox with 5 legs.
Mhm.
So let me see what I get today. By
It
the way,
doesn't know the laws of physics or biology.
now, but let me just tell you what's different now. Now we had this in the past, right, where you could do a scene, a subject, an icon of the prop that you're trying to do, and you had all of this before. What's new is this right here. You could select the model. Okay, now Firefly is that used to be a separate program, remember, and it still is. but it uses the Firefly, say that 10 times, model. So you can select these 3 or 4, or you can use some partner models, right? Models created by others. And you may have heard some of these. How many have heard of Nano Banana? Does that ring a bell?
Isn't that a search engine?
Nope.
Oh, it's or a form of AI?
Yeah, it's another AI engine to create 3D objects and stuff, right? I'm just getting used to, I'm just getting familiar with it. I don't know a whole lot about it, but there's a whole slew of, third parties engines that you can use. Now, the only drawback to this is the reason why I like some other applications is that you have to use up your credits to do that. So you see right here it says use 1 credit. So if I use Nano Banana, it's going to use 10 credits. Okay. So you may be, now Gemini is probably more, will give you a better representation. In fact, I'm going to use Gemini because when I did Firefly, it gave me that red fox because I was being cheap, right?
Right.
To use 1 credit. So I got a red fox with 5 legs. Not a good thing. So let me do, I'm going to do Gemini. I'm going to burn through 10 of my credits. That's okay.
Can you clue us into the cost of these credits?
Huh?
Can you clue us in about the cost of these credits?
I don't know how much they cost, but I think you can go somewhere and find out how much credit you have left. Somewhere up here, I believe.
Somewhere around your account.
Yeah, somewhere you can find out how many credits you have,
Mhm.
and if you run out of them, then you can
purchase more.
purchase more. But you can see that well, let me just try a couple of other ones. Let's see if I do the image. What is this one? Chat GPT, I guess.
Mhm.
Ooh, that used 60 credits. That used 10. That used 20. That's 10. I think we did this one already. So, and this one used 10. So let's do the 60, the one that used. And I think they get renewed every month, I think. Okay. Because in some application, you don't lose credit, they just roll over, right?
Mhm.
Or if you, I don't know. I don't know all the details behind the credit because I don't
So
use
I'm
credit
assuming
at
you
all.
pay a monthly fee to have the application, and it comes with X number of credits each month.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna select this one. So this should give me a fox with 4 legs. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm using 60 credit. It better give me a pretty red fox. Okay. So I'm going to click create, and it may take a while. I ought to get a pretty fox. Now, as before, you could create a rectangle of the size of the object that you want to create before you do this, and it would create that object, in this case, a red fox with that of that size. But since I didn't select anything, it's just going to create the size of whatever it generates. Okay, well, at least that looks like a nice fox. Okay, what is that? I haven't seen that.
I only see 3 legs on it.
Well, I mean, the other ones
It's
had
the
the.
perspective. Of course, if you make it 3D and rotate
Yeah,
it,
so
we'll see the other
that's what I
side.
want to see. So what is this though? We love your quick take so we can. Do you like the output? I'm gonna say yes. Can you guys see this dialog box?
Yeah.
Can
Okay, I'm
you
gonna submit.
turn off those surveys as an option so it doesn't distract you?
You probably could. I don't know if you can or not. Thank you for taking the opportunity. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now let the magic begin. I'm gonna right click on this and use this turntable feature, right? We call it turntable. Okay. And it's gonna generate multiple views. And I think this use credits too, I believe. You see how it's creating a little 3D rotation of that guy and the thumbnail there?
Yeah, it went from you having a robot shape to having a more human shape.
Yeah, and that's just a little preview animation now.
Mhm.
It is almost through. Your original artwork is saved as a group in the layers panel. Okay, that's what it's telling me. And it's generating multiple views. And now you typically probably don't want to be doing this with a complex object. Maybe like that red fox. In I'm interested to see how well it does. Typically, you want to reserve this for simple objects where you can make a 3D object out of it. But it's done a fairly good job on some YouTube videos that I've seen that I thought was complicated. I'm thinking, man, I'm not sure it's going to get that right, and it did. So I'm curious to know, and because I'm using that 60 credit, I should be getting a really good rendering here um, of this object, and that's just again a preview that's being painted with the robot and the human person. Um, any questions while we wait?
Nope.
So let's see what we get with this fox. Almost there. It's going a little bit faster. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Come on. Come on. Come on. A little bit more. Bam. Okay. There you have it. Now, the thing is, will it animate, rotate, I should say. Let's see. So you got this slider right here, and then you got some other control. So all of this is new, by the way. Okay. All you could do in the past was just rotate it. Now you could
Mhm.
do some other fun stuff, and we'll talk about that as well. So let's see what happens when I try to rotate this thing. This is 180 minus 180 and 180. So let's go the other way and let's see what it does. I'm a slow. That's not bad, huh?
It's pretty good.
Not bad at all.
That's not bad at all, right? Now let's go the other way. I'm happy with that.
He appears to have all his legs.
Yeah, that's a good
And the
thing.
tail changes.
Huh?
And the tail changes
Let me
perspective.
see the tail. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's try to go the other way. I'm pleasantly pleased, if you will, with that.
It,
Okay.
it's
If I
all
had to
on
do
the
that,
same vertical plane. Do the arrows on the right
okay,
tilt it up
let's
and
see what
down?
happens. So once you get here or wherever you want to be, let's say right here, you got this up and down arrow. So if you click on this one, you see it kind of goes up, it tilts up a little bit. If you click on this one, it's going to tilt down, right? And you can go up or down, right? So you can go up or down a couple of times.
It actually changes the position of the animal of the image.
Right. So that's good. That's new. Okay. And then you can see the numbers right there, the percentage. So if I go back, maybe I want to go like that, right? Because I want him flat on his feet, right? And then you have these two new items. Now, this is going to show you the previous and next rotation view to the right or to the left. Okay, so let's do the right. If I click on it, notice it gave me this view. If I click it again, it's going to give me another view. It's going to keep on giving me those views, right? So, if you want a multiple view of the same object, I'm going to do Control Z to undo that. And then use my hand tool. Control Z a couple more times. Okay, so that's what that other. Now, if you get out and it says, well, how do I get back in? You just click on turntable again, and it's going to get this panel back again. Okay, so you got this left-right thing. I'm going to skip this one for right now. Then you have, this is new, and this is the export as GIF file, or GIF, depending upon what part of the country you're from, right?
Yeah.
So y'all know what a GIF file is, I'm sure, right? So you can click on this, and it's going to prompt you to save it wherever you want as a GIF file. How cool is that? Okay. If you can use a GIF file in your application. And then this is just letting you know, you could send Adobe. The output was great. In fact, I thought it was great. So I'm gonna give them a thumbs up on that. thank you for your response, blah, blah, blah. It saved me time. It gave me some creative ideas. The quality was high. I spent 60 credits, should be, and I'm very satisfied. I'm going to submit that to Adobe. Okay. Or if you didn't like it, then you can do that, right? Or you can report variation, do done, and you got some other things. Now, I saved this one for last because what this does is John still online?
Yes, yes,
Yep,
he
I'm
is.
here.
Okay, this will give you what they call a sprite sheet. Are you familiar with a sprite sheet?
Uh, um, is that just a collection of sprites? I mean, I assume.
Yeah. So a sprite sheet is basically is a well, let me just do it and show you. So if I click here, and I know you guys can see this thing here. You see, there's the sprite sheet. Let me just drag this out. Let me see if I can drag this out a little bit. And so it's going to give you an image of each of the rotations. This is what we call a sprite sheet. Back in the old days, we used to use this to create 3D animation by almost like stop. What is that? Stop
Action animation.
Motion.
Right. Stop. Yeah. You take a little toy and you take a picture of it and you move it a quarter of an inch and you keep taking pictures and then you stitch that together to create the illusion, right, of an animation. And this is what we used to have to do back in the old days. Now
So
with AI,
tedious.
that's a thing of the past. Okay. No, now I forgot to mention one thing. So that's what you can do as well. I got one thing I wanted to mention when it comes to the artboard that I forgot to mention, and that is if you have an artwork. In fact, let me just do this. Let me see if I can select this guy here. If you have an artwork and then you use the artboard, if you click on the artwork, it's going to automatically, that's my favorite word, create an artboard to match that artwork. Is that cool or not? Okay, so if you got an artboard that is by itself, artwork rather, I had that red fox by itself, right? And if I use my artboard tool, it automatically creates an artboard that is the size of your artwork. Is that cool or not?
It cropped it to fill the object into the artboard.
Is that cool or not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let me Control Z this. Now let me think. There's one other thing. I don't know if this works or not. Let me try. Now, if I'm on the art, I got the object, and if I double click, I think. No, that didn't work. Let's see what this says. No, that's closing. Oh. There's another way where I can. I'm trying to think. Let me see if I have it in my notes. Double click on the artwork to fit the artboard to the art bounding box. We did double click on the artwork. Oh, so if I double click on this, watch this one. If I double click on this artwork, it's going to
have it fill the artboard.
I hope. Let's see if that works. Look at that. Now there's an artboard behind there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move this artboard out of the way. So look at that. It automatically created an artboard for that artwork. Okay, so you can go both ways, right? You can have just an image, like right here. If I just click up here, make sure that's selected, and click up here, look at that. Automatic create an artboard. Is that slicker than slime? That slime is slick, right? That's my little Chopinism on that. I thought that was cool. Anyway,
I'm laughing.
Pretty cool.
You laugh? All right. So the turntable feature is really nice. They start to add more features to it. I was overly impressed, I may add, with my red fox. And I'm turning it again. And so you can do that with any object. You know,
Great.
to me, that's impressive. I'm blown away. And again, they've added a whole lot of more features. Did I do this one? This is export. Yeah, we talked about that. So yeah, there's a whole lot more feature, and it's probably getting better at each iteration of Adobe Illustrator. So that's
Cornelius,
all.
before you go on, let me point out, we've been doing this an hour now, and there are 4 more features you had advertised that you'd address tonight. So far, you've done 2.
Yeah, I
So,
did too. And that's typical, right? Not normally.
yeah.
I
It's just we get deep into each feature.
Right. So anyway, we'll call it quits right there, though, because it's 7
Okay.
o'clock, and I got some other things I need to wrap up. So hope that helps. And if anybody wants to present next month, that's fine.
We do have a presenter with Carol Gunn.
Okay,
and
yeah,
I
you did.
that,
You did
and I'll
mention
be
that.
announcing that on the website in the next
Good,
day
great.
or 2.
Right. Well, I'll just give me more time to fine tune these other ones that I've just been kind of experimenting with. But I
Okay,
get
so
a little
that
bit more
might be
versed out.
for June or July.
Yeah, I might be able to do something then.
Right. Okay, shall I stop the recording now?
Yep, stop the recording.
All righty. Well, thank you all for
Yeah.
cheering
Thanks,
on
Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Not a problem.
John, do you want to plan to do a presentation in June or July, or shall we keep going with Illustrator?
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
It's Tom, everybody.
Hey, Tom.
It's Face from the past.
I can gladly do another one.
That would be wonderful.
You chop it up on me.
Mhm.
I can barely hear you.
Mm.
It's
What
I
is
can't
happening?
hear.
it's
Your
like
voice is
it's like
very
it's not
static.
wired and it's cutting out. We can't really make out any words.
Yeah.
Type in the chat.
Yeah. Where's the chat?
It's a weird computer day.
Oh, welcome back.
I hope it was okay with you, Cornelius, that I kept reminding you of the time. I just think we should try to keep these to an hour.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. That works in my favor, actually.
Set up with agent force.
You guys still talking? I don't.
No, he's muted and off camera now.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
Yeah, he's still cutting in and out. He's talking, but I can't hear him. Karen, you are mute.
I said, I thank you. I think Tom is going to have to send us a chat or an email.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounded like he was on Artemis on the other side of the moon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to work. So it's great to see you guys. I'll see you next month. And
Okay, we'll see you guys
For the Carol and Eileen show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you all. I think I'm going to end it. Oh, give him one more chance. He's waving goodbye.
Or
Tom, send us an email.
See my hands right there. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, he did say hi.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
he did say hi in the chat.
Okay, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, John.
Bye.